Now let's talk about how you're actually going to make this happen and the way you're able to not only invest in property in another province, but manage that property is through a very, very efficient power team. Okay. Now, these are the 9 people that I would recommend you need in your property business to get started. Number 1, a property coach, a property mentor, or some sort of property advisor. Property, as you guys know, is a very expensive asset class, and if you make a mistake, it usually or tends to be a big mistake and a costly mistake. So you want someone who is a coach who's done it before, who's got the experience and can hold your hand through the process. Number 2, you need an estate agent. Now, an estate agent is a loose term. It can be an estate agent from Remax, or it can be a sourcing agent, someone who specifically works for investors. Almost, they're usually referred to as the wholesalers. So there's different ways in which you can source deals, but you need a person that's finding you deals in the market. Next, you need a builder and an architect, or an architect. It depends, if you're going for the flipping strategy, you probably do want to go with an architect because you might need to do some substantial renovations, and then an architect always comes handy. Otherwise, a builder is going to be sufficient. Someone who can do paint, tiling, redo the bathrooms, redo the kitchens, can come with you to view the property so you can get a sense of what the cost might be. Building inspector. That one is the most key person, because the building inspector can go and view the property and tell you what's wrong with the property in detail so that you can skip a flight from Cape Town to Joburg. Right. Accountant, critical. Someone to do your taxes, someone to work your finances. A finance broker. So how are you going to raise financing? Are you going to get a bond originator? Are you going to use private investors? Are you going to go through the traditional banks? You need that person who's going to help you raise that financing. Insurance broker. Of course you need someone for insurance. Insurance is obviously, it's like grudge purchase, No one really likes to pay insurance, but I guess it's also important, especially when you start looking at bigger deals. You want to look at insurance. An attorney, right, to do the transfer and to help you deal with all the legal aspects of your business. Now, there are also one more person, which is the letting agent. This is the most important person in your power team, because if you've got a good letting agent, someone who manages the property on a month-to-month basis, that gives you the freedom to travel. That also gives you the freedom to still live in Durban and invest in Johannesburg. Because if you've got a team in Johannesburg that manages the rentals, does the evictions, organizes the maintenance, collects the rent, all you have to do is provide your monthly banking details to them and they pay you. I mean, obviously you have to, deal with some emails, and you'll have to sign off quotes on building costs, and, there'll be things that you'll have to make decisions on, but you won't be actively involved. Now, in terms of a local team, what I mean by local team is who of these 9 people need to be local to the area? These are the 4 people that need local knowledge. Your estate agent has to be in the area you want to invest in. Your builder has to be in the area, inspector and letting agent. Those are the 4 people that you have to find within Joburg to invest in Joburg, for instance. The other 5, your property coach, finance broker, accountant, insurance broker, and attorney, can be nationwide. So what that means is you can have your coach in Cape Town, your accountant in Pretoria, your attorney in the Free State, your insurance broker in the Northwest, and your finance broker in Limpopo. So that's what it basically means, is that the 4 people you need to be local, which are the 4 at the bottom. The top 5 can be national. So let's quickly understand what each one is and how you can vet them to make sure that they're the right fit for your team. So first of all, the property coach. The property coach is there to educate you, motivate you, and help you or hold you accountable to making a decision, right? The reason you want a coach is because they've done it before. The reason why you want a personal trainer is because they've got the body you desire and they obviously know how to get there. So when you are looking and reviewing at your selection of different coaches, firstly, what I would say is avoid anyone who says they are just a general property coach. Now, what I mean by that is, property is such a broad field, and you might be interested in something like flipping or wholesaling or multi-lets. You want to find a property investor that doesn't have experience in property but has experience in the strategy you're looking for. So for instance, I wouldn't take on a student that wants to do the wholesaling strategy, because although I've done it once or twice, it's not a focus for me. So I don't have the best practice to be able to teach someone the wholesaling process. But if you're looking for multi-lets, well, that's what I specialize in. If you like multi-lets in the South, I'm your guy to speak to. So when you're considering a property coach, understand what strategy you want, what area you're focusing on, and then find an investor who's had success in that area with that strategy. So it needs to be specialized. I would definitely ask you to check references, so find out the contact details of their past students and see what their past work or testimonials look like. So you definitely want to get some references of past students. I would like to see proof. If I was getting a coach and I was going to pay a coach a large amount of money, I would want to see some, a case study of a good deal, a case study of a bad deal. I'd like to see some proof of the deals and the transactions that the person's doing. And then finally, there needs to be a personality fit, right? So you might meet a coach that's got everything in terms of the technical skill, but you guys don't see eye to eye on an emotional level. I wouldn't choose that person as your coach, because the coach's role is to hold you accountable. And you're only going to be held accountable by somebody that you trust, right? Number two, the estate agent. What do? Well, they help you find deals. They negotiate for the seller, and they negotiate you to the seller. And also, if you're looking to resell your property, an estate agent's a great source for you to resell. Now, when you're picking an estate agent, here are some top tips. Firstly, set clear expectations up front. What does that mean? Whenever I meet an estate agent, when I phone them or email or meet them in person, I immediately say, guys, I'm an investor. I'm going to come in at a 20% discount. 9 times out of 10, it's always a financial decision. I never really look at it emotionally. Are you okay with that? So I set the expectation up front that I'm an investor looking for distressed, motivated sales. I'm going to offer a discount. I don't mean to offend you, but that's the game that I'm playing. I'm not a first-time buyer. And then fire quickly. If you find an estate agent that seemed nice in the beginning, but actually isn't bringing you deals, or isn't doing the work you expect, fire them. And when I say fire them, just ignore them, move on to the next person. You need to look for mutual long-term benefits. So, you want to partner with someone that's going to be in your journey for the next 10 years, because you want to be able to trust this person. They need to know exactly what your deal risk appetite is, what area you're looking at, what returns, what strategy, and you need to coach them so that they understand what it is you're looking for. They need to understand the area, so ask them questions about the area, what are good, bad, medium areas to invest in. Try and find someone who's focused and has worked with investors before. If they haven't worked with investors before, they're probably going to get frustrated with your discounted offers, and they're not going to, let's call it, play ball. And then finally, efficient. This one I found to be probably the most important point. When I'm looking at an area like Berea and I find a deal, I'll send an email to the estate agent asking them for certain things like proof of income, proof of expense, a COJ bill, maybe annual financials of the building, all of these things that I need to understand and do due diligence on the property. And the guy won't reply for like a week, right? That's not an estate agent that I want to work with. If I request information, I want the estate agent to reply within 24 hours. And if they don't do that, they're not efficient. Remember, the good deals go quickly. So if your bottleneck is with your estate agent, you're going to lose out on a lot of deals. Builder and architect. So what role do they play? Right, they renovate, they repair, they get involved with new builds or any kind of maintenance work. Some tips when you're selecting a builder. References and past work. So you want to go and see some of the renovations they've done before. And also you want to make sure that they're certified. So just write down the NHBRC. That is the certification that a builder needs in South Africa to legally practice. So just make sure that they have that certification. Check some past work or visit projects. I definitely like to do that. So if they currently at a construction site, meet them there and see what they're capable of doing. Especially when you're working with a new builder, I would go to Builders Warehouse and just go and confirm their material costs. So they might provide you with a quote for materials and labor. I would just go to Builders Warehouse and confirm that the quotes that they're giving me is accurate, just so that I feel a little bit more trust. And then again, fire quickly. That's going to be a continuous theme, guys. This is your property business. You don't need to work with anybody. You want to work with the right people. And if somebody's not treating you right or treating you well, fire them, move on. Easy come, easy go. Building inspector. Now, this is an important one. They determine the building's condition and they can estimate repair costs. This is the person that you want so that you don't have to go and view the property. Okay. Now, tips when selecting. Firstly, make sure that they're independent of contractors. I've had building inspectors come and tell me that the entire plumbing of the building needs to be redone because they're trying to get business for their plumbing friend. So I want a independent, impartial estimate on the building, not someone trying to help their buddy who is a builder with some business, right? Detailed and efficient, and they need to be certified with the NABISA. That's for the building inspectors in South Africa. So again, as long as they are regulated and they're certified, I would give them a try. Accountant. Your accountant should provide you with monthly numbers, so how have your deals done, some tax advice, and also you start looking at trusts and wealth protection with this person. Tips, simple. They need to be flexible, they need to be able to work on your schedule. You don't want to be working with someone like a KPMG, they're just a massive organization. You want to work with an accountant that works with entrepreneurs, that is easy to reach, easy to chat with, and knowledgeable, right? So just make sure you've got a good accountant. I've got somebody that I could recommend, he's based out in Pretoria, great guy. Finance broker. Now, your finance broker is the person who's helping you with favorable terms. Now, favorable, what I mean by that is that they get you good loan to values and decent interest rates, so prime plus 1 over a 20-year period from different institutions. So you want to be very specific with your finance broker as to what kind of terms and conditions you want. Now, these people will help you find finance for deals, for renovations, or if you decide to go into development. A big tip that I would say is get a good bond originator. What a bond originator does is they will go on your behalf to all the banks and they will fight with the banks to get you the best interest rate. So it's good to use a bond originator and you don't pay for it. The bank or the finance institute actually pays for it. Did you know that there are over 50 registered banks in South Africa? Banks like Mercantile, Tough, Combined Finance, Sentinel Homes, Mercantile. I don't know all of them by heart, but there are so many different financial institutions. So if the 5 big banks say no to your deal, maybe open yourself up to other types of financing and see if you can't get the deal across the line. When working with private investors, please make sure that you've got good legal representation. So you need to have good terms and conditions and good agreements in place signed on both sides so that you protect yourself and the investor. And equally with joint partnerships, when you're looking at using other people's money, just make sure everything's in writing. If you're partnering with someone and they're bringing more capital than you, make sure it's all written somewhere and signed off so that, God forbid things go badly, at least you guys know how to exit the deal. The insurance broker. Now, insurance, no one likes to pay and pay for insurance. If you're looking at property investing, I would say there are 3 key insurances you need to look for. Your building insurance is insuring the cost of the building to be redone. That one is a must. If you're looking at the multi-let market and you're buying a block of flats, please get building insurance, because if that block burns down or something tragic happens, at least your insurance provider will pay for it. Content insurance is insuring the contents within the house. So you might have a kitchen with a washing machine and a fridge, and you want to insure those inside elements. That's only applicable if you're doing like the Airbnb strategy, right, where you're renting out a fully furnished property. If you're just renting out a room or a unit, you probably don't need that. And then rental insurance, there's lots of great providers out there that will insure your rent for 3 months and will also pay for the eviction costs. So go check out Expello. I think they're a pretty good provider. I haven't used them myself, but there's some great products there. When looking at selecting, it needs to be price and coverage. So how much are they charging and what are they covering? And you just got to find the person that's giving you the best deal, to be honest. Attorneys. Okay, your attorney, your legal person. Offer to purchases, partnership agreements, lease agreements, evictions, anything legal, this is your man or your person. When selecting the person, number 1, try and do repeat business with one attorney, because if you can bring them multiple deals, you can start to negotiate the transfer fees. you can start to negotiate the fee they charge you for doing the transfer, because if you're bringing them bulk, they're obviously getting regular work, which is good for them. Number two, make sure that you go to the attorney specialized for whatever it is that your legal need is. So don't use a divorce attorney to do an eviction, for example. If you've got an eviction problem, work with an eviction specialist. If you want to do a transfer, work with a conveyancing attorney. Make sure that whatever the attorney you're using is specialized in the legal challenge that you have. And then finally, the letting agent. They do the management of tenants, rentals, maintenance, evictions. These are my favorite people in the property game, because if they're in the right position and they manage your business properly, all you do is you sit back, relax, you let the money flow in. If they're not managed properly or they're not doing their job, this is the biggest nightmare and headache, because you have to do it yourself. When selecting, make sure that the price matches the services. So for instance, I've got a letting agent that charges me 8% on the rental, but they do everything. They manage tenants, they market the property, they do the TPN reports to do credit checks on the tenants, they vet them, they evict them, they maintain the property, they do everything. For 8%, I don't think that's too bad. So you need to make sure that the price makes sense, but also that the services they cover is what you want. Again, references. And this one, most importantly, fire very quickly. If you have a bad experience for 3 months, fire them, go somewhere else. Okay, because it's a competitive market and there are lots of players in the game. And if somebody's going to not treat you or treat your business with the priority that it deserves, good.
Thanks for watching another video with us. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you're interested in learning more about how you can become financially free through property, here are 2 steps. Firstly, please go and get a copy of my book. You can get it at Exclusive Books, Amazon, or Takealot. If you're interested in getting more practical with property, perhaps you want to join our online university, or you want to get a one-on-one coaching experience, please go to my website, www.lawrencebull.com, and don't forget to subscribe.